Who is the Rookie of the Year as of right now? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Emmanuel Camia and this is League Talk. On here, I make videos pertaining to the NBA. I give my thoughts, opinions, and takes. So if you're into that kind of thing, then this is the channel for you. So make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like for the algorithm, and leave your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's jump into this video. So a few weeks ago, I made a video pertaining to the MVP award. So in the same breath, I thought it was appropriate and only right that I make a video, regarding the Rookie of the Year award. This is my second favorite award to speculate about because this award gives us fans and analysts an insight, a kind of a glimpse into the future of the NBA. Normally, the young talent that wins this award always goes on to be an amazing star in the future. That is not always a given, but the majority of them do, right? LeBron won Rookie of the Year for a reason. And so a lot of these young guys that you see competing for this award are most likely going to turn out to be phenomenal players. And so because of that, we get to speculate on a young batch of great talent that just came into the league. And this year is no exception. We have a bunch of dudes that are very talented, vying and competing for the right to be crowned Rookie of the Year. And some of them should be very proud of the job they've done so far. There are names that I didn't expect to be in the race, in the running, that is on the list of Rookie of the Year charts. There are names that I expected to be in the race, to be a front runner for the Rookie of the Year award, but surprisingly isn't there. One of these guys is Jalen Suggs. I was very high on Jalen Suggs during the draft. I thought that he was going to be right up there with the likes of Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green. And I have to admit, I missed on that. And I'm not afraid to admit that. But on the other hand, there are also names that I completely didn't expect to be on this list of, Rookie of the Year potential candidates or this Rookie of the Year race. I had no idea they were going to be on the list, but lo and behold, they're here. These names being Evan Mobley, Josh Giddey, and Scottie Barnes. And all these guys flew under my radar. And again, I'm not afraid to admit it. You win some, you lose some. But, Scottie Barnes, I was kind of mad that the Raptors picked him in the draft. And I even made a video about it. But then as the season started and the season went on, I started to see how good he was. I retracted that. And I even made a video called I Was Wrong About Scottie Barnes. If you want to go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. But luckily, there are some guys that I expected to be here and be in the race and be forefront of the race, and they are here. These guys being Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green, the number 1 and number 2 pick overall. Now, both of those guys didn't have a very strong start to the season. Cade Cunningham especially struggled to get acclimated to the game at the beginning of the season because a lot of these rookies, it's a whole different game. It's the same game, but it's a different game. You come in there and guys are bigger than you, guys are stronger than you, guys are smarter than you in terms of basketball. So a lot of these guys, they come in and they don't get acclimated to the nature of the game, the speed of the game, and how intense it is right away. And Cade Cunningham was one of those guys. For the first month or 2 months, he just wasn't up to par with the status of being the number 1 pick in the draft. But recently and now it seems that he has gotten his footing and he's been playing amazing, which is great to see. And on the other hand is Jalen Green. Jalen Green received some criticism early on too. His detractors pointed to the fact that Jalen didn't seem to be a team player. Early on, it was clear to see that Jalen was still mad that Cade Cunningham was the number 1 overall pick instead of him. And he even came out and he said this. And it showed every time the Rockets played the Pistons, right? Jalen was zoned in on outperforming and outplaying Cade Cunningham. And this, in a sense, kind of blinded him to playing the right kind of basketball, to playing team basketball, winning basketball. And that was all due to the chip on his shoulder that he held from not being picked number 1 overall. And I can understand his frustration. A lot of these guys, they have a lot of egos coming into the draft. I mean, put yourself in the shoes of these young talent that are coming into the league now. They're told they're the best thing ever from middle school. They go to high school and they're the best in their state. Then they go to AAU basketball and the coaches want to please them. And there are scouts at their games and they have a large following on Instagram or social media. So I can see why he felt some sort of way that Cade Cunningham was taken number one overall over him, because in his head he probably thought, I'm probably the best thing ever since sliced bread. So I understand his frustration, but at the same time, you can't let draft order get to you. You can't let that kind of noise get to you, because there's a lot of guys that weren't picked number one overall that still went on to go, be great players in the future. Now, I don't know if it's because, he's mad because the number one overall gets paid the most out of all the rookies. He gets the largest contract. I don't know if that's because of that or just because of an ego thing. Either way, you have to put it aside and you have to look towards the future. And that was one of the things that made him, not play to his potential early on in the season. But with all that being said, in my opinion, there are really 5 guys that I think have a chance of winning the Rookie of the Year. And these guys have, it's not a big discrepancy. It's not a gap between each one of them, right? These guys are Scottie Barnes, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Josh Giddey. Those are the 5 guys that I think if the award was to go to any one of them, I wouldn't be surprised, nor would I be mad at all. Because I think a lot of these guys, they have really put in the work to earn this award. But unfortunately, it only goes to one person. Currently, Evan Mobley is the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, according to the Kia Rookie of the Year leaderboards. Josh Giddey, in the same breath, has made a compelling case as to why he should be the Rookie of the Year, right? Just like all these other guys on this list. Josh Giddey, to me, would be the biggest dark horse to win the award. Josh came out of nowhere, right? He wasn't on anyone's radar, right? He was a number 6th overall pick, and he wasn't on anyone's radar. He certainly wasn't on my radar. But would you believe me if I told you that he's won 4 consecutive Rookie of the Month awards? That's not bad for a number 6th overall pick, if you ask me. Currently, he's averaging 12.5 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, and 6.4 assists per game, which I really like. I really like the latter 2 stats of 6.4 assists per game and 7.8 rebounds per game, because he reminds me, the way he plays, he reminds me a lot of LaMelo. And I know people are going to be like, oh, it's because he played in the NBL and LaMelo played in the NBL. It's not because of that. Guys who play overseas develop their game more and it's well-rounded before they come into the league, and they are able to produce and actually give you value outside of scoring. And I see that a lot with guys like LaMelo, guys like Luka Doncic, guys like Josh Giddey. They just have developed playing professional basketball, and it shows. Currently, I don't think, those numbers are bad for the number 6 overall pick in the draft. And winning 4 consecutive Rookie of the Month awards, I gotta tip my hat off to that, And then there's Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes, who plays for my Raptors, who I didn't want the Raptors to pick. I wanted actually the Raptors to pick Jalen Suggs, but luckily the Raptors saw through all the smoke and scream and they picked the right guy, in my opinion. Scottie Barnes has been great for the Raptors this season. He's been averaging 14.9 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, and 3.3 assists per game, which is great because Jalen Suggs would have been, on the Raptors instead. Looking back on it, it's easy, to now say that Scottie Barnes is better than Jalen Suggs. And I say that, with hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. Literally, it's 2022. But with all that being said, here is the ranking from 5 to number 1 of those guys that I mentioned that are in the running for the Rookie of the Year. Number 5 is Jalen Green. Even though he's averaging 15.1 points per game, 3.2 rebounds per game, and 2.4 assists per game, he hasn't really made a huge impact on his team. In fact, like I said earlier on, some people think that his team plays better without him, because he's not playing team basketball. And so that's my knock on him, and that's why I have to put him at number 5. And then at number 4 is Josh Giddey. He is the dark horse, in my opinion, to win the award just because of how he really came out of nowhere. I never expected some white kid from Australia to take over like this. But even though he's won 4 consecutive Rookie of the Month awards, his team still isn't improving. And because of that, I have to put him at number 4. Right? His team is one of the worst in the league. And then at number 3 is Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes has been great for the Raptors. He's been averaging great numbers for the Raptors, and he's been having a huge impact on them. But the 2 guys above him, I think, are outpacing him in both areas of impact and just scoring and better stats. Number 2, Cade Cunningham. Cade, the only reason I have him at number 2 is because of how bad his team is. He plays for the Pistons. The Pistons have not historically been the best team ever. But aside from that, I think he's the best rookie. He's the best perfect rookie in terms of scoring, putting an impact on his team, and living up to the hype and role of being a number one pick overall. He hasn't let that hype go to his head. At first, he was overwhelmed by the pace of the game at that level, but ever since he got his footing and he got acclimated to it, he has just started to excel, right? And were it not for how bad his team is, I think he would have been my number one guy. Since he's not my number one guy, Evan Mobley has to be the number one in the race as of right now. And he is the number one in the race right now according to the Kia Rookie of the Year leaderboards. And that is a big surprise to me. That is a surprise that September me would have never saw coming. Aside from Scottie Barnes, Evan Mobley's team is the only team that's in playoff contention. And Evan has a lot to do with that. Not only is he averaging 14.4 points per game, he's also averaging 8 rebounds per game, which I love for center. I love when centers can do something aside from just scoring. And especially for a young guy, for a young center, I like to see that early on. And he's also averaging 2.5 assists per game, which makes him, to me, the Rookie of the Year as of right now, because he's giving much needed value that his team could probably use in the playoffs. And not a lot of guys on this list can say that they're adding value or what they're contributing to their team right now is going to be worth something in June. And because of that, he is, in my opinion, the Rookie of the Year. But that's just for right now. Like I said, there's not a huge gap between all of these guys. If any one of them were to get it, I wouldn't be mad or I wouldn't be surprised. And also, it's March, right? A lot can change. There's still a lot of basketball to be played, and so there's still a lot of things that can happen. So, but as of right now, those are just my thoughts, and that is where I think each one of those guys are. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you. I appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like for the algorithm, right? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think is the Rookie of the Year? Leave it all down in the comments below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and click here to watch how LeBron is potentially going to be leaving the Lakers in the near future. And aside from that, see you next time, kids.